All right, friends, it's T-Man, and we are back again with JasonBlaha, our favorite YouTuber, the influencer, yes, the gym lifting, recruiting, lifting slave himself. JasonBlaha, yes, man, accelerated aging program here. We're going to do a reaction video to JasonBlaha's video. JasonBlaha says, split routines allow for a lot more refinement work in our training. All right, let's see what the gym slave has to say.
One of the big perks of training splits is the ability to really fit in refinement movements for exercises. Hey everybody, I thought I would chat.
One of the benefits of training splits is refinement. No such thing. There's no such thing as refinement. If you're doing a look, I got to explain this, man. Training splits, they're gonna happen if you're adapted. They don't work. You can get an adaptation in a training split, but here's the problem. Once you get an adaptation in that area and you come back to do another split, let's say for example you did your shoulders and you got an adaptation, meaning muscle damage. They got damaged. Never mind adapted. They got damaged. And you try to bench press. You try to do your chest now. You're gonna have a lot of problems, dude. You're gonna shrink that muscle, and you may lose. You're gonna lose muscle fibers. It works against you. So yeah, like that's only if you get an adaptation in that area. Now I'm not sure on the other parts when you're coming in if you're trying to do that, and they're like work through the soreness. Work through the muscle damage. Work through the damaged fibers. That's ridiculous. That's something Michael Hearn would say. That's ridiculous training. In a bro split, you want to be adapted. And so, what's the whole point behind a bro split? It really is just to open a window for protein synthesis. That's it. You have more chances of getting that muscle part to grow through protein synthesis, but nobody in the gym is actually exceeding that breakdown in protein synthesis. That's their problem. They're just never eating enough, or they're eating the wrong foods, going to McDonald's or eating pizza and Coca-Cola after their workout. The truth is, after your workout, for even that one body part, you still have to be in a positive nitrogen balance, anabolic, for that area to grow. I'm just talking about the mass on the myofibrillar. I didn't say it wouldn't reach a myonuclear domain. At some point it will. Now then you're going to have to figure out, where do you go from there when it reaches a domain limit? Anyways, it's not what he's saying, refinement and all of that. That's not refinement. Maybe a thermogenic effect to burn body fat so you could see the muscle.
You guys and gals a little bit about this today. And you know, a lot of times people say, well look, on less split training you can still work some of this stuff in, but you really can't, can you? Meaning you're always...
Yeah, you can work anything in. Is he trying to open a window for protein synthesis on the back of his shoulders there and his back area? Because he's working his back area, actually. He's kind of working his triceps too at the same time. See what I mean? Things are getting overworked. It's not, you can't really totally isolate one muscle group. It's still getting worked. If you're doing your biceps, for example, if you're doing your biceps and you're holding a barbell, your shoulders are still kind of getting worked. So is your back. So is your shoulders. You understand me? That is the problem with that. You have to be very careful what you're doing. People say, "What's isolation?" You're not totally isolated, dude. It takes the other body parts have to all work in unison as well to move that weight.
To have a lot of muscles that get neglected. So when we're doing full body training, for example, which is what we usually prescribe.
Full body training, that is the reason why the fitness industry, they took up full body workouts. That's one reason. That's not the reason why I do a full body workout. I do it for muscle damage. There's something called repeated bout effect phenomena, a whole bunch of other things. And muscles won't break until they're repaired and remodeled. They won't damage with a second repeated bout after that, until they are remodeled. Anyways, that's another discussion for other training. But anyways, that's an adaptation. But again, Blaha, he doesn't know anything about lifting, bro. He doesn't know anything about lifting, how to build muscle or anything. He doesn't even understand how to create permanent strength. the more overload you do, the more damage, the more overload, the more of these nuclei you can accumulate, the stronger you get. That strength is permanent. It doesn't go away. You build real muscle with real nuclei. The nuclei synthesize protein. That's why in science it tells you, they call it muscle memory. It's not really muscle memory. The memory's there. The strength, that strength will be, it's always there. It doesn't go away. How do you maintain that mass? Well, with protein synthesis. With protein will maintain that mass, okay, like it says in science. It's not the weights that are going to maintain it. And that strength is maintained providing you still have those nuclei. And I don't know how long they can last for. In science, it says up to 15 years or something. I don't know. And when people come back, they were like, if let's say they did shrink, let's say they didn't eat, they shrunk a bit or something, they can come back a lot faster than it took them to get there because they bank on nuclei, because nuclei synthesize protein. That's what happens. Yeah. Well, some people think, well, I have to get, I'll still eat the same food, but I'll just try to get more of these nuclei, and then they'll synthesize protein for me. No, they themselves, they synthesize protein, but protein synthesis still needs to exceed that breakdown, bro, to push that domain. I think people are really confused. They think that they can work out eating their 3 meals a day and somehow it's just going to shuttle in there because I lifted a weight. So it's going to magically shuttle in there. No, it's not going to shuttle in anywhere. You're going to stay the same the whole time. Unless you do something radical, your body is not going to change. And protein synthesis needs to exceed that breakdown. I'm sorry, dude. If you don't have money to eat enough meat, forget it. And I'm not talking about confusing your diet with a slave diet with slave food. Get it? Fake food.
But novices, full body 3 days a week, things like that. Or sometimes even with an upper-lower split, you don't have all.
Novices, full body 3 days a week. Yeah, you could live 3 days a week full body. Okay, you're adapted, right? What are you trying to do? Why are you lifting there? To open a window for what? Protein synthesis. Okay. Are you doing that? Are you going down and eating for the next 4 hours? Are you eating for 4 hours so that protein synthesis exceeds this breakdown?
A lot of room for smaller refinement exercises because we're having to work with really big exercises because we have to get out of the gym at a reasonable time. Meaning if you're in the gym for 3 hours.
We have to get out of the gym in a reasonable time. If you've been in the gym for 3 hours, here's a question. I know people have been in the gym for 3 hours and then they go and eat for like 15 minutes or 30 minutes at the local pizza shop. You think that's enough? You think that's going to work?
Straight, it usually is problematic. You're not going to be recovering from that. There comes a point where you're just getting...
Recovering? You don't want to recover. You want to grow from that. The whole point people are going into the gym probably lifting that long is they think that they're growing muscles in the gym. Muscles don't grow in gyms and weights don't build muscles. And how many reps to build a muscle? It doesn't. Again, everybody has it all backwards because that's the fitness industry for you, dude.
So much fatigue that you're not getting anything out of the smaller movements. But I think it makes a lot more sense when you look at the full body approach.
Isn't that how muscles grow, they say? Fatigue?
And again, do not...
He's fatiguing muscles. They're going to grow through fatiguing. Okay.
Get me wrong. Full body is great for building a base on a novice. Like a barbell-based full body program.
Is full body good if you're adapted to open a window for protein synthesis? Yeah, it's good too. Now, is full body good in muscle damage? Yeah, it's good in an adaptation in muscle damage. You can get more nuclei. And there's also a window for protein synthesis, and protein synthesis is extended for that entire week, and blood levels are elevated for that entire week during the what? The repair and the remodeling. Now, when it comes to an adapted person doing full body, right? They're not getting an adaptation. They're trying to get mass on the myofibrillar. They're not building more myofibrillars, right? They're trying to get more contractile proteins on there. How do you do that? Open a window for what? Protein synthesis. Now that you lifted, the window is a lot larger than the breakdown, but there's still a breakdown there. So then what? Then protein synthesis has to exceed what? Breakdown. Get it? See what I mean? Jesus.
And
So you eating 32 grams of protein may not hit the target, dude. Get it? What about the breakdown part? That's the 32 grams is what's preventing the breakdown. Now what about the building up? There's an open window now for protein synthesis. Are you eating enough? Are you eating enough? See what I mean?
you just throw in some curls, focusing on just big barbell movements, and we can count the curl as a big barbell movement, right? I think we can. But focusing on a handful of big movements every time you come into the gym is a great way to build a base in a novice because they recover so fast. They don't need a lot of real volume for a muscle to grow. As long as there's progressive overload, novices grow like weeds. So
They don't need a lot of volume for muscle to grow. That again, muscles, they don't grow from volume. They'll grow from volume, the amount of volume of steaks that you eat. How many steaks does it take to build mass on that myofibrillar? How many steaks does it take after your workout?
you can come in and have them do, squat, bench, deadlifts, some pull-ups or chin-ups or rows. Maybe throw in some barbell curls, overhead pressing.
Oh, yeah.
You can throw in something smaller for hamstrings, right? If you need to, if you want a little bit of hamstring. Nothing stopping you from doing that.
Yeah, see, just go in and damage and break down proteins. They'll give you more hamstrings when you break down more of these hamstrings, they'll give you more hamstrings. When you break down the proteins in your muscles by working, right? You're going to get more muscles by breaking them down, by dismantling them. They'll go away. And that's how you'll build them. Yeah, sure. Okay. I should do more of these so I can shrink. I can get smaller. Oh, okay, great. Yeah.
And, that works great.
No wonder why people in the gym are all wondering why they're so small, and some are even getting smaller. Man, I see people in a gym. I go to a public gym, and I see people working out, and I see the same people. I go away for a year or whatever. I haven't been there for so long. I come back, and some of them look smaller. Some of them have never changed, and some have gotten fatter, and just a whole bunch of things, dude. Just nothing is going on there. They've made themselves into lifting gym slaves.
In fact, I would go so far as to say that other than the lack of arms, strong lifts kind of works pretty good for novices. So did starting strength. Again, I think that you need some arm work with some of that, particularly for guys.
Boy, we need some arm work. We need some arm work, man. I have in my community section, I put some pictures of mine and his. I mean, I rarely work out, and I look younger and better. I have better muscles. I have more muscle. I carry more muscle, and I do less lifting, if anything, and I focus more on eating, and I focus more on just not stressing myself out going to a gym all the time. I rather have permanent strength as well than this fake strength. That's all.
I would almost tell people, look, you could run strong lifts and throw in some barbell curls and do just great your first 4 to 6 months in the gym. Absolutely. But we get to a point very quickly to where you are not able to actually focus as much on the other muscles as you get further in. People say, what do you mean? Well, when we start getting our overall fatigue up, what tends to happen, as fatigue climbs from doing the bigger exercises, your nervous system will stop recruiting the upper threshold muscle fibers in later exercises in the workouts. If you've been
No, really? I wonder why. Why won't it recruit them anymore? Because they're fatigued. Oh.
in there, you come in and you've done a 5x5 with squats, a 5x5 with some.
What is the purpose, guys? What is the purpose behind lifting weights in a gym, like in just bodybuilding? I'm not talking about powerlifting people, okay, that are trying to chase chemical strength. I'm talking about people that go into the gym and they're lifting. What is their major goal? They want to go there to build what? Muscle. Why are they trying to go to there to build muscle? To get stronger. And maybe some people for cosmetic purposes, but really it is to get stronger, right? They want to gain muscle to get stronger. Why in their mind they think, well, I'm going to gain muscle, I'm going to get stronger? What is the goal there? Because They don't want to be lifting slaves, bro. Get it? They want to build muscles so they're strong physically all the time in the street. They don't have to rely on chemical strength. Being a small, strong guy, a pretend small, strong guy in the street. They want to be a big, strong guy. Get it, dude? You understand me? They want to create permanent strength, but at some point, everybody loses it. They all lose it because they don't understand how to build muscles. They don't know what builds muscles. They think the weights are, and then they become discouraged when the weights don't build any muscles. Like Blaha, he's building muscles every time he's lifting these weights. Do they look like they're getting bigger to you? Because he says he's building all the time. They're always building. Where are they building? Where are they? Where is it? See what I mean? If you don't understand bodybuilding, I wouldn't even bother go to a gym unless you've thoroughly researched and understand what it is you're trying to do there. What is your goal in the gym exactly? Why are you there? And what are you doing there? Are you there to lift a heavy weight and accumulate like maybe some muscular strength and a lot of chemical strength by lifting a heavy weight? Is that what you're trying to do? So now you have to keep coming in to lift that weight because you have to maintain it through chemicals? Okay, or are you there to build real muscle so that you could build permanent strength? You understand me? Look, you don't believe me? Here, man. You gotta really ask yourself, what is your goal there exactly in the gym? People don't even know their goals. So look at this. It tells you here, what is myonuclei retention? Fibers that have acquired a higher number of myonuclei grow faster when subjugated to overload exercise. Why do they grow faster? Because they synthesize protein. Thus, the nuclei represent a what? A functionally important memory of previous what? Strength. So what makes you stronger? Physically, these nuclei, they enhance you. Okay, how do they enhance you? They synthesize protein. They build real muscles. Yeah. Okay. This memory might be very long lasting in humans. See that? Why is it long lasting? Because it's permanent. As myonuclei are stable for at least 15 years and might even be permanent. Yes. So what strength are you banking on exactly there? How is this strength permanent? What makes this strength permanent, and what makes that strength your practice strength in the gym? What makes that based on chemical strength? See, chemical strength, right? Testosterone, right? Androgen receptor strength. Look, I'll explain this, man. This is permanent strength. This is what they're telling you here. They say permanent strength. See that? This is permanent. Now, you can lose muscle, but then you can gain this muscle back if you have these nuclei. And guess what? Your permanent strength will come back. Okay, now what is a fake strength? What is a fake type of strength? Okay, let me show you what a fake type of strength is. You want to see what fake strength is? Chemical strength? This is chemical strength. Okay, dude? Hold on a second. So this is chemical strength. See that? Myocytic androgen receptor controls the strength. What's a myocytic androgen receptor? It controls strength. How does it control strength? It's easy. It tells you right here when it tells you right here. It says thus androgens control perineal and limb muscle mass in male mice through myocytic AR. They do that too as well. The mass. They help in that. AR dependent and independent pathways respectively important that show that AR deficiency in limb myositis impairs myofibrillar organization of sarcomeres and decreases muscle strength, thus demonstrating that myocytic androgen receptor controls what? Key pathways required for maximum force production. So what's an AR? What's an AR? An androgen receptor. That's where the androgens bind. These chemicals called androgens, they bind to the myocytic androgen receptor, giving you what? maximum force production. That's based on chemical strength. See that? Now, what are myonuclei? What are they? Well, they're muscle cells. They're muscle cells. What do? They synthesize protein. Well, if they synthesize protein, they build the mass on the myofibrillar. Get it, bro? Get it, bro? That's what they do. That's why it's permanent strength. That's why it's permanent strength, dude. Get it? Yeah. Look, here's another one. They talk about post-mitotic now. They're not even sure. In mice, they say, in mice, they are not post-mitotic. They can split in mice. I don't know in humans. They say they're post-mitotic in humans. They don't split exactly. So the only way to get the progenitor to donate these nuclei, because muscles are post-mitotic, they don't split and divide and increase the number, is to damage them through an adaptation process. In general, consensus is a skeletal muscle research field is that upon terminal differentiation, myonuclei enter a permanent post-mitotic state and are no longer able to replicate their DNA. Yeah, you want them to. You want to replicate more DNA. That's the whole point. It's very difficult. It's a difficult process. What happens if you lift weights, you don't eat enough protein? This is for Blaha. Lifting and doing strength training without adequate nutrition, especially without enough protein, can actually lead to loss of muscle tissue. Furthermore, if you aren't eating right, you won't have the energy to do your workouts and lead to muscle gain. Well, there you go, bro. See that? They tell you here about protein synthesis, some course evaluation. They talk about MPS. Some people will find this fake. I don't know. I can't tell you, man. It depends if you're adapted. Maybe this window's 24, 36 hours. In muscle damage, it's a lot longer. It's carried over, okay? So I don't know what they're talking about there. Consumption of whole eggs promotes greater stimulation of what? Post-exercise muscle protein synthesis. See that? You need food, bro. They even tell you here, they say isonitrogenous amounts of egg whites in young men. They're talking about whole foods. Whole foods. What are whole foods? Meat. Whole foods, they're talking about animal products are what build muscle. Protein diet is commonly ingested from whole foods that contain various macro and micronutrients. What are whole foods? Meat. However, the effect of consuming protein within its natural whole food matrix on prandial protein metabolism remains unstudied. Well, I don't know. They've done studies on it now. They're talking about the whole food part. They're not talking. This is just a study for egg white and the yellow shit. Anyways, I'm not going to talk about that now. Let's go back to the video.
By 5 with some benching. See where we're going with this?
Yeah.
You've done, some deadlifts, a set of heavy 5s on deadlifts, like on, say, a strong lift program, right? It's a common setup. You throw in maybe some barbell curls, that's it. Okay, you do 3, you've done about 14 work sets. Once you start hitting around that, 14, 15 work sets in a workout, particularly if they've been big exercises, you don't have anything left. Your nervous system will start giving out. It's not going to let you come in and really work muscles hard anymore. Stuff is going to just stop firing.
Wow. Here's another thing. You could be resistant, protein resistant, insulin resistant. This like Blaha, he's an old guy. He's an old person. You could be protein resistant, insulin resistant. Yeah, that's another problem. You could be lifting, you're insulin resistant or protein resistant.
And we need to be aware of that now. Some people would say, well, you won't get the fast twitch fibers.
But Blaha's on TRT. He's on steroids. He's still, to this day, he's on steroids because he's an unnatural human being. Let's hear what else he has to say here.
You get a lot of the intermediate fibers, and they can grow. Yeah, they can grow for a bit as novices, but once you've been training a little while, they'll stop growing for the most part, or they grow.
They won't grow if you don't eat. They won't grow if you don't eat properly and enough.
But a greatly diminished return. And I've seen data on that showing that the faster twitch fibers are the only ones really growing anymore for
Look, if you want to grow muscles, then just focus on opening a window for protein synthesis. It has nothing to do with drop sets. It has nothing to do with working to fatigue or overworking yourself. None of these things. If you are an adapted lifter in the gym and you truly want to build muscle, then you need to focus on just opening a window for protein synthesis. Can you do it in a bro split? Yeah, you can do it in bro splits. And then just go eat loads of meat. You understand me? And be in a positive nitrogen balance, and then come back and then do another split. See what I mean? Can you do that? Yeah, you can. Of course, you could do anything. You could do anything providing it works until some things stop working. And when they stop working, you need to figure out how to make them work. That's why you rely on science to see what they did in an experiment. Oh, I need more of these what? Nuclei because I reached a what? A myonuclear domain size limit. Oh, how do I get more of these nuclei? What do? Oh, they synthesize protein. Oh, they create more muscle fibers. Oh, I need more muscle fibers, more muscle for them to grow because muscles have a domain limit. The cells have a domain limit. Okay. How do I get them? Oh, I have to damage the muscle fibers. Eccentric exercises do that? Oh, okay. So I have to damage them to get a donation of these nuclei, and then they will synthesize protein, and then I can further this domain. But only when protein synthesis exceeds that breakdown. Oh, okay. So that's what I got to do. Oh, I understand now.
That's drug-free lifters.
Oh.
Okay, so the problem you run into, how much refinement work are you going to do? Okay.
I'm a hungry individual. I want to grow.
So the problem you run into, how much refinement work are you going to do? Okay, because you have a lot of muscles that have whole heads that didn't get stimulated. So let's say you did, those 4 exercises.
Yeah.
Squat, bench, deadlift, barbell curl. Okay.
Okay, let's say I did those 4 exercises. Yes, Blaha.
Long head of your triceps got almost no work. Rear delts got almost no work. Side delts got minor work.
They got no work. They got worked. Everything gets worked. What are you talking about? You still have to use those body parts. They're getting worked.
Okay. So
They're not getting as much work as the body part that you're focusing on, but they're getting worked.
your lats, your calves, your hamstrings, all that stuff got understimulated. But a lot of heads of muscles got understimulated. There's a lot of refinement that got left out. A lot got left out.
Look, if you people don't believe me, you can try it yourself. So let's say you take Saturday and Sunday off, but you work out 5 days a week, okay? You split these body parts and you split in between your legs as well. I don't know, for each body part, you split one body part of your leg area with that body part. I don't know, for example, you do your chest and you may do your hamstrings. And then the next day you do your shoulders and you do, I don't know, you do your quads. And then, I don't know, the next day you do your back, maybe, and you do your calves. And then you do your arms, and then you do squats for your thighs. See what I mean? And you can incorporate some ab work there as well, maybe even your neck in between. So there you go. You can actually do that 5 days a week because shoulders, arms, chest, I don't know, whatever. Chest, shoulders, arms, back, and I don't know what you would do on the 5th day. You figure it out. You split them up, man. I don't know. All right? And you split them up with your legs and you do all that kind of stuff. And after your workout, you just freaking eat a lot of protein. Protein synthesis needs to exceed that breakdown. And you carry it over the rest of the week till the following week. See what happens. You can experiment and see if your muscles will grow. See what I mean? Just eating protein and just working out like that. It's an experiment. Hello. I know it's gonna work because I've done it.
So the same thing, we go over to an upper lower. Okay, we get a little more mileage, but it's kind of the same thing. We literally run into the same thing. Let's say you're doing an upper lower. What about an upper body day? You've done 3 sets of bench, 3 sets of pull-ups, 3 sets of incline, 3 sets of rows. That's 12 sets of big movements. Yeah, you can do a little refinement work after that. What are you going to do? Maybe 3 sets? Well, you're going to have to pick and choose. Is it going to be triceps? Is it going to be side or rear delts? See where we're going? Because what's going to happen, you've done 12 hard sets of big compound movements. After about that, you're not recruiting much else. So maybe one exercise is going to get trained really hard beyond that. Now, that's an improvement over the other because we can do the same thing on the lower body, you know. We could do some squats, deadlifts, good mornings, you know.
Yeah, you could do any of these things, but if protein synthesis doesn't exceed that breakdown, you've done them for nothing. You've done them for nothing, for zero. You've wasted your time. You've enslaved yourself to this, to being a lifting gym slave and getting zero results. A zero.
And about that point, your lower body is done. Like your nervous system is done. You're not going to get a lot out of your calf work. I mean, you'll get something out of it. You're not going to get a lot out of coming in and trying to isolate the quads and things, because once you've done something like that, you've done about 9 or 10 heavy sets for your lower body, especially with those squats and deadlifts. Again, your nervous system is going to be largely done. So when we go to start splitting the body up into our body,
Your nervous system is going to be done. Well, you don't want to work out to that point where the nervous system is done. That makes no sense. We're just there to open a window for protein synthesis so we can get stronger. That's the whole point. Isn't the whole point going to the gym to build muscle so that we get stronger? Or is it to go to the gym and get better at lifting these weights forever? Oh my God.
body part splits, this is where we can really come in and say, well, you know, chest and tricep day, maybe I need to do a bunch of pullovers. Maybe I need to do some work for the long head of my tricep. And it's not going to be that big of a deal. Okay, you've got room for the refinement. Because you've probably only done about 6 to 9 big exercises, right? You know, for say your chest and all your pressing and stuff, you know, you've maybe done at most like 8, 9 sets of pressing. Okay, we're not completely exhausted. We can come in and do some smaller stuff that works these muscles at other angles that are being neglected, that works the muscles at angles that can hit all of that. Same thing on a shoulder day. Like if you have an actual shoulder day, we can do a big movement.
Whoopee. Is he using surgical? This is like surgical tubing here. He's stretching his arms apart. Hey, look, Mom, I'm opening a window for protein synthesis. The problem is I don't eat any protein. I just eat fake food. Okay.
Or two, and then isolate every single head, right?
You know, all these things are working against you. Can you imagine eating a lot of fake food, thinking you're going to build muscle on fake food? And then you're lifting like crazy. You're actually destroying proteins now more than is necessary by doing this. You're just lifting and lifting to do what? Remember, lifting, the focus of lifting is to open a window for protein synthesis, right? That's the goal, right? I think that's the goal. Most people have that goal, but then they lose it at some point. And then they just start breaking down proteins. They start lifting. I watch people in the gym, man. They just lift to high heaven to break down proteins like crazy. They come in every day. They're lifting there every day. They live practically in the gym, man. I see people, I'm not joking, I swear to God. These people live in the gym, man. I come like once a year, like 3 months later, you know what I mean? And I don't even change. I look like a bodybuilder when I walk around. I look built all the time. Now the structure of my body changes depending on what I'm eating. Now that I'm back on my natural diet, just eating natural food. So it's kind of changed back to its normal state, its homeostatic state. But I look like a bodybuilder because I built real muscle. I bank on more nuclei, bro. I banked on adaptations. I didn't bank because I just went there because I wanted to build a bunch of mass on the myofibrillar. That mass can be lost. You didn't build any more muscle fibers per se. Now, I'm not saying that you can't get more nuclei. That depends to further that domain, which is difficult. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. You may reach a level where you hit a nuclear domain limit. Now, how do you further that domain? Through muscle damage, bro. Through an adaptation process. That's how you do it. That's how muscles are really built. They're built through an adaptation process. Now, if you want to see that mass, the mass on that myofibrillar, even though you grew a myofibrillar, let's say you grew a myofibrillar, but if you want to see the mass visually on that myofibrillar, now that you have it, because you can't visually see it. You need to build up the mass on that myofibrillar that you built through an adaptation. Protein synthesis needs to exceed that breakdown to see that mass, bro. Get it? And you don't want to just, because you don't want to go there and lift and just see muscles in a CAT scan. Oh, I can only see it in a CAT scan. You want to see it visually. That's the whole point.
You can isolate every head. You can do some overhead pressing, some upright rows, but then you can still easily work in 3 isolation movements.
It's funny watching this. Hey guys, one of these days those muscles they're gonna magically build. I'll just keep doing this. I'll keep lifting. Eventually they'll build. Blaha has never built any muscles. What he did was he got fat and then he got skinny again. See? He got skinny. He got fat by eating a lot of really bad food, and then he just lowered the calories of the bad food, right? That's what he did. He lowered the calories to starve himself, and he got skinny again. You get it? And he's trying to convince you that you're going to build muscles by doing all these exercises. Where's his muscles?
You may not need to isolate the front delts if you're overhead pressing, especially if you bench heavy on a different day, but you have room for that. You absolutely have room for that. Same thing when you start doing lower body days, where you're splitting it up. If you have kind of a deadlift day, you have plenty of room left.
If you get physically stronger, your bench press is going to go up. If you build muscle, your bench press is going to go up. If you build muscle. You understand me? So you don't have to just rely on chemical strength. Get it? It will go up automatically.
Do a bunch of reverse hypers for the lower back if you need to. You can do all this refinement work because you've probably only done 6 or 7 heavy sets of big movements. Okay, the nervous system can still continue to work these smaller movements and smaller muscles and more refinement. And we can actually recruit muscle fibers while doing it. And
I gotta tell you, you young people, you're so lucky to be young, man. This is like the best time to build muscle. The best time to build muscle is in your teen years and in your 20s. Wow, you have such a way. And the problem is, young people, they don't have any money to eat. It's unfortunate, man. But if you could eat the way I do in my videos, like all that meat, and you go down after your workout and you eat all that meat, man, protein synthesis exceeds that breakdown, bro, you're gonna get massively, brutally big and strong. And I mean brutally big and strong. But if you can't eat the way I do in my videos that I showed you, those meat videos, forget it, man. You're just wasting your time eating the Blaha diet, his food basket. He focuses less on, you got to focus more on food than your workout. The workout, yeah, people will tell you the workout is the stimulus. It is a stimulus. Okay, what are you doing there? What are you trying to stimulate there? A window for what? Protein synthesis, right? A larger window. Okay, there's a larger open window. What do you take? How are you taking advantage of it now? What are you doing there exactly? See what I mean? You need to focus more on what you're eating, and eating a lot of that to build the muscles. The whole weightlifting bit, it's all free, dude. You could do it anywhere in the street. It's free. Breaking your body down is free. But building your body up, well, that ain't free.
Really create a good training response, okay? So that's stuff to think about. And we won't be able to squeeze all these things in if we don't split our routine up. So again,
a training response?
It makes a lot of sense for more advanced lifters to start doing this stuff, right?
It makes more sense to split it all up for advanced lifters. No, absolutely not. The only reason why you'd probably want to, like I said, you'd want to split it up is because maybe you're not able to eat enough protein. I'm really not sure exactly. Most people just can't eat enough, so they split it up, or they're lazy. I can't really tell you for sure. So I know some of the reasons that people do that is because they can't eat enough. So they think, well, whatever little amount of food I'm eating, it will shuttle into that muscle. So if I only do one muscle a day, then whatever I eat that day will shuttle in there. Your 3 meals a day, your Cocoa Puffs or whatever it is you're eating, your chocolate milk. You understand me? Yeah, that's what people think in their head. That's why they split it up. They don't think they can consume enough in a full body on one day. But on a full body, you don't just consume enough. In an adaptation, you're consuming the entire week. But doing three full body workouts a week, wow, it takes a lot of energy to build that muscle, a lot of energy. That's a lot of protein. You need a lot of animal protein, bro. Get it?
Even if you go as small as a 3-day split, because you can still fit in refinement for anything you need. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative.
But does building muscle have anything to do with getting better at lifting weights? Not necessarily. You will get better at them eventually, but does it have to? But you have to focus on that. Well, I have to get better at lifting, and that's what's going to build a muscle. No, no.
And I'll talk to you guys next time.
That was very uninformative, man. I would never follow his advice. I'd be in limbo failure. I'll see you in the next one, man. Touch, think about that, like, subscribe, comment down below. I'll see you in the next video. Ciao, friends.